Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever in the world you're joining this workshop. I'm Nikhil Deshpande. I'm a principal product manager for BMC Helix dashboards. In this workshop, we're going to look at why you should migrate from smart reporting to BMC Helix dashboards, which is part of the BMC Helix Service Ops suite of solutions. Whether you are on BMC Helix ITSM or business workflows, or you build custom apps on Innovation Suite, or you do use any of our operations management solutions like Discovery, Helix Operations Management, and so on. Helix Dashboards is our single dashboarding solution for all of these products. Many of you probably use smart reporting for your reporting needs. Today, we are going to look at why you should consider migrating to dashboards. We'll also share with you some tips and best practices on migration. We're also going to see a product demo. There's something exciting we've got to show in this workshop. We're going to show you a product demo of Visual Query Builder along with Reporting Metadata Studio. This is the latest feature in our upcoming 24.2 release, which will allow you to create a layer of metadata. You can create metadata views on not just your out-of-the-box fields, but also your custom fields. So I haven't started sharing yet. I will start sharing my screen in a moment. Okay, so let's get started. A prerequisite to this workshop is that you should have already taken these courses on BMC Academy. There's a basic course for you to understand BMC Helix dashboards. It's called BMC Helix Dashboards 21.x Fundamentals using WBT. It's a 2-hour course, and there's a follow-up course. The first course, the fundamentals course, will introduce you to BMC Helix dashboards because that's not the scope of this workshop. We expect you should have already taken this course, and the second one, which is focused on the migration tool that enables you to migrate your smart reporting reports to Helix dashboards. So we suppose you've already taken these prerequisite courses, and with that, let's go ahead. Let's pause for a moment and understand what is service ops. For far too long, IT organizations have had two distinct functional units: IT service management and IT operations management. Service management typically focuses on service desk, incident management, change enablement, problem management, and so on, service desk operations. Operations management, on the other hand, focuses on events, metrics, making sure that the IT infrastructure is available and is of use to all business services. And what we've seen is that for far too long, these two functional units have existed as if they're two completely different departments. And the walls that separate these two are not conducive to collaboration and innovation for any organization. It's important for us to remove these walls and enable service management and operations management to operate as one cohesive whole. That is BMC's service ops strategy. BMC Service Ops allows you to treat service management and operations management as one whole, as one unit, so that whatever you do in the service management world, you can take advantage of it in operations management and vice versa. You can drive business outcomes in service management based on what happens in operations management and the other way around. We do this by leveraging AI. AI is at the heart of our strategy, whether it's in service management through our AI service management capabilities, also in our operations management solutions through AI Ops. So we leverage AI to give you proactive insights into what's going on in incident through proactive problem management, through incident correlation, through AI Ops, discovery. Everywhere we use AI to make it easier for you to achieve your service management and operations management goals. And this fosters collaboration across all those units that need to work together, whether it's traditional IT teams across service management and operations management, modern agile DevOps teams, which are typically spread out into the business, enable DevOps to succeed in your organization, as well as lines of business. Today, service management isn't just about operating the service desk. Anyone who's not in the business of serving external customers is in the business of serving internal customers. So lines of business such as human resources, facilities, and so on, they're all in the business of serving their internal customers, and they need to adopt the same agile processes or practices that traditional service management and operations management teams have adopted over the years. Service management, although it started in ITSM, has now spread out to all internal lines of business that serve the business as a whole. So service ops is about facilitating the outcomes across all of these initiatives. BMC Helix dashboards is an integral part of service ops, and we'll see how so in a moment. BMC Helix dashboards is built on Grafana. Grafana is a state-of-the-art technology for dashboards and reports. It helps you consume information in a way that's action-oriented. When I say action-oriented, it means it should empower and enable consumers of information to take action. Now, whenever anyone runs a dashboard or a report, their end goal is to have insights into a business process or more than one business process. In service management and operations management, typically this is incidents, problems, changes, events, metrics, and so on. Helix dashboards allows you to connect to your data sources to fetch data, which can then be presented in a meaningful way for consumers of information to make decisions. These decisions could be strategic decisions or tactical decisions. And dashboards does it by allowing you to present data through a wide range of visualizations. You can use those visualizations that are apt for your specific needs or the specific needs of your consumers of information. Now, although we use Grafana as the dashboarding solution, we have developed key IP that enables us to have greater control over delivering features which are important to you. And these are primarily in areas like scheduling, exporting, and distribution. What it means is that unlike smart reporting, we are no longer dependent on an OEM vendor for product feature functionality. We have the ability to enhance the out-of-the-box capabilities of Grafana and deliver them on our platform. And this is a huge advantage over smart reporting. It allows us to align more closely with your use cases, with your needs. We also have an extensive set of out-of-the-box dashboards, and we'll see some of these in a moment. BMC Helix Dashboards works with the key BMC Helix products. We've got one solution for dashboards across the entire range of BMC Helix products. So why is BMC Helix Dashboards the right solution for you? It is one centralized common reporting dashboards. You don't have to go to different reporting solutions for your reporting needs. Once your report developers or whoever is tasked with building reports, whether it's managers, whether it's business analysts or service desk agents, once they imbibe these skills required to build dashboards in BMC Helix dashboards, you can leverage those skills to build dashboards across all service management and operations management solutions. So there's a short learning curve, and as soon as you have those basic skills, you can use these skills to build compelling reports and dashboards across all BMC Helix products. And this is important because increasingly we are getting feedback from customers that they want to drive business outcomes in one domain based on what happens in another domain. There's an outage on a business service, and that's detected by operations management solutions, by events. But an outage on a service inevitably results in incidents, or more appropriately, major incidents that are submitted that service desk teams need to contend with. It's important for us to have or build correlations between these events and incidents or major incidents. And that's why it's important to have one dashboarding solution that operates across the entire gamut of BMC Helix solutions. We've got several out-of-the-box report definitions available, and this list keeps growing by the day. We've delivered several out-of-the-box reports. These allow you to understand what are the typical dashboards that a typical customer or a typical service desk organization or an IT infrastructure organization needs to have. By no means is our list complete. It keeps growing, and the idea of delivering these out-of-the-box reports or dashboards is to enable you to understand what's possible with the tool and the underlying database, so that you can tweak these dashboards to your needs. You can make customizations that work for you. Typically, customers may have their own customizations. It could be custom applications that are integrated with service management, or they could be custom forms in ITSM, or they could just be custom fields on your incidents or problems, changes, whatever objects you work on. This is a list of dashboards that we deliver in service management. Currently, there are more than 36 dashboards that we have delivered across asset management, incidents. So in assets, we have got 4 dashboards in asset management. There's an asset overview dashboard that gives you a complete overview of all the asset CIs in your organization. You have a dashboard on contracts. There's an inventory dashboard. On incidents, there's an incident aging analysis dashboard. On all open incidents, service desk teams often have to report on aging incidents, find out the root cause of aging incidents. And this dashboard gives you deep insights into those open incidents. There are change dashboards. There's a DevOps metrics dashboard. DevOps teams often track a range of metrics. They call it DORA. And these reports enable you to understand the effectiveness of DevOps at your organization, in your company. So we have got these dashboards that you can use. There are dashboards across knowledge management. There's a KCS effectiveness and efficiency dashboard. There are dashboards on major incidents, service requests, There are two dashboards on CMDB, one on data quality, one is an overview of the CMDB, how many CIs you have, and so on. We also have dashboards across business workflows, digital workplace, live chat, and so on. Likewise, in the operations management suite, we've got more than 15 dashboards out of the box across events, metrics. So there are specific metrics for SQL Server, Oracle, and so on. There's one on automation. There are two on automation console. In fact, there are a few on log analytics. And last but not the least, there's a service dashboard, which is a core part of our service ops strategy. The service dashboard shows you metrics across ITSM and ITOM, whether it's incidents, changes, events, outages, and so on. Service dashboard brings all of these entities together on one dashboard. So you remember what I said, being able to drive outcomes in one domain based on what happens in a different domain, based on what actions you take in a different domain. That's exactly what the service dashboard allows you to measure, how effectively you've been able to do that. Our product documentation page lists a complete list of dashboards that we have delivered out of the box. Yeah, so these are all the solutions. These are all the products for which we have delivered out of the box dashboards. And BMC Helix dashboards is our standard reporting solution for all products going forward as well. So let's look at a few of these out-of-the-box dashboards. The first one of these is a digital workplace request overview dashboard. It allows you to have a quick snapshot of what's going on with your service request catalog, how many service requests have been raised, the active service request, and so on. How many of these requests are awaiting approval. You can also have a trend of daily submissions, daily fulfillments. You open requests by age buckets. You can find out what are the top categories for which service requests are raised. You can see what are the top requested services. And why is this important? Service desk teams often need to make workforce planning decisions. So across your different locations, at different times of the year, depending on whether your business is seasonal or not seasonal. Service desk leadership teams need to make decisions on workforce planning, and these dashboards allow them to make those decisions about which services, which sites have the most demand in terms of service requests, and so on. Then this is the service dashboard I talked about. This dashboard has some cards, statistic cards that, so you see the first row of statistic cards, it brings metrics from operations management. There's a health score, number of situations, availability, and so on. Then at the bottom, you also have a few more events, closed events. You've got stat cards on outages, mean time between failures. And then you've got those incident management metrics, like how many open incidents, aging of open incidents, SLAs, and so on. And then this timeline in the middle, health score, events, and incidents, this is what shows you events, incidents, critical events, health score, all of that on one timeline, so that you can build correlations between operations management and service management. Helix dashboard is packed with features which allow you to drive your consumers. When I say consumers, it's the users of your reports or dashboards. It drives them to action. And how do we do that? We do it through a broad range of visualizations. Visualizations allow your information consumers to consume information in a way that allows them to make or understand meaning out of the data that's being presented. So typically this can be, there can be symbol tabular charts, tabular reports, which is the most common one. There can be cross-tab visualizations. We have got a record details visualization. So the screenshot you see here is that of a record details visualization. This can be useful if you want to print certain records, and so it could be a PDF, or you may want to physically print a document. So that's a BMC record details visualization. There's a bar chart, there's a combination chart, and so on. Some of these are out of the box visualizations. So for example, application branding is, this is, so some of these are Grafana out of the box, and those visualizations that are prefixed with BMC are the ones that we have customized based on feedback from customers. So customers typically, the kind of use cases that customers have for service management operations or operations management, we have tweaked those Grafana out of the box visualizations to, and we have called them, we have just prefixed them with BMC. Grafana is a proven technology for scalability, for performance, and we also find that Grafana is increasingly becoming more popular in the market. Grafana skills are readily available in the market. First of all, it's not difficult at all to learn to build reports on Grafana. Any report developer or business analyst or anyone whose usual job is not to build reports can quickly get up to speed with Grafana. And that's the advantage of a tool such as Grafana. And once you become proficient at building reports, then you can quickly build reports at pace and keep your reports or dashboards updated based on changing business needs. Even end users, it's very easy for end users to run those reports or consume information from dashboards. You can view those reports on screen. You can export them to Excel or PDF formats. You can, there are several use cases on how customers prefer to use their reports. And we facilitate all those use cases through dashboards. BMC's IT organization actively uses BMC Helix solutions. So this is about, they call it drink your own champagne. BMC IT serves the internal business units within BMC. So they manage data centers, they manage business applications, they run a service desk, and they use BMC solutions across the entire IT function to drive those outcomes. They've built a range of dashboards that we are going to see a few of them. So this one is a CIO dashboard, typically used by senior IT leaders to get a quick snapshot of what's going on in IT. So there are those stat cards of events, how many critical events, major, minor, and so on, how many outages there are at this time, how many outages were resolved recently, how many business services, technical services you have. You can also see bar charts for top 5 business services based on outage, and so on. You can bring stat cards for operations management as well. So number of hosts, number of VMs, containers, and so on. So this is a complete overview of the IT estate. You can also have outage counts based on top 5 impacted applications by events and so on, so that IT leaders know where they should be focusing their time on to drive continual improvements and drive innovation across the organization. This one is an SSL expiration dashboard. Typically, many technical services have SSL certificates, and you need to know, your security team must know which SSL certificates are active, and more importantly, which ones are due to expire soon, so that they can take timely action, or they can notify anyone who, all those who are responsible for renewing the SSL certificates. So this dashboard shows you where you should be focusing your time and energy on. All those cards that you, all those CIs that you see are green, or you've got sufficient time to renew those, or they're not due. But anyone that's red or amber, you can see those expiration of those SSL certificates are due within a few weeks. So you better inform those teams to take action. This one is a VM. This is a vCenter overview dashboard that gives you a complete snapshot of your VMware estate. You know, the availability, clusters, data stores, and so on. CPU utilization across your top clusters, memory utilization. So all typical operations management metrics can be seen in this vCenter overview. There's an application availability dashboard which makes use of uh, these gauges. Gauges are another visualization that you can use wherever you want to depict data on a scale of 0 to 100. Gauges can be a good way of showing the score. This is an incident aging analysis. Almost all service desk organizations do aging analysis of incidents or tickets and so on. And incidents that don't close within a short period are typically the ones that take a lot of management time, escalations. So IT leaders typically want to know how many incidents are open for an excessive amount of time, you know. So the first stat card shows you incidents within 1 and 2 weeks. The second one is 2 weeks to a month, and then anything open for more than a month. And this is where IT leaders want their service desk leadership teams to take action to reduce the counts of those open incidents. And then you can group them by assigned to, this by assigned group. So if you have so many open incidents, you want to know which teams own those open incidents. And so these panels show you a a, a bar chart of these open incidents grouped by assigned group, and so on. So this one here is a cross tab on aging based on priority and age of tickets. So typically critical and high incidents get the major attention. How well or how poorly are you doing in terms of making sure that critical and high incidents are resolved within a reasonable period, and certainly within the service level, the service targets as agreed in your service level agreement. There's an open problem analysis dashboard, quite useful for problem managers to look at open problems, critical problems. You can look at the support groups that own most of the open problems and so on. Problem management is a process or an ideal practice where at all times you know that there are many incidents, many recurring incidents that should qualify as problems. A major challenge that problem managers face is that they just don't know which recurring incidents they should focus their time and effort on. And a dashboard such as this can help them focus their attention. So there may be many problems at any time, but which are the problems that affect business critical business services, mission critical business services? This is where a dashboard like this can help throw insights into those business services. So we're now going to, I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Abhinay to walk you through best practices of report migration. And before we do that, let's look at your questions. Is it possible to pull reports from Discovery? Absolutely, yes. We can do that. Discovery is one of the solutions that you can run dashboards on. In addition, if ITSM is on Helix SaaS and Discovery on-prem, if you have a hybrid environment where you have some products in SaaS and some on-prem, then you will need to run different instances of dashboards. Okay, I'll see if I can share this or hide this Zoom taskbar. I'm not sure I can do that because I don't have a secondary monitor, but let's see how best I can do that. Okay, we don't seem to have any more questions, so I'm now going to hand off to Abhinay for best practices of report migration. Abhinay,
Thank you,
over to
Nikhil.
you. Okay, we've got one.
One more
Kuldeep.
question.
Yeah, Kuldeep has raised a hand. Kuldeep, do you want to post your question to chat?
Or we can allow Kuldeep to speak up if that's what he prefers.
Okay. And, I,
I'll allow Kuldeep to.
yes, allowed to.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Kuldeep, go ahead and ask your question. Please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So my question was regarding the training, web-based trainings on the BMC Academy, but they showed me as paid when I tried to.
Okay. So these training courses are paid. We have made
Okay.
exceptions for customers. So if you're a BMC customer, you will get free access to those courses.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you
Thank
a
you.
customer?
Yes.
Okay, then you should reach out to your account manager at BMC if you are a customer.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. We've got two more questions in Q&A. Will the recording be shared? Yes. In a few days, we will share the recording on BMC community. All of you will be added. So all of you can follow the BMC Helix dashboards community on BMC community. And that's where we will share links. You'll also receive a thank you note from BMC for attending this workshop, and it will include links to this recording. We'll share this recording on a public site where you will have a link to view that recording. So that should help you. Okay, Deb has a question. Are all the dashboards shown out of the box? Can you bring in or link to other applications reporting into a dashboard or just Helix? Yes, when in your Helix environment, you can look at all the dashboards. We ship a number of dashboards out of the box, a lot in service management as well as a few in operations management. I'm not sure I understand your question. Can you bring in or link other applications? Okay, if your question is, can you create data sources to external applications? You can do that if dashboards is on premise. On SaaS environments, wherever dashboards run in SaaS environments, there are security restrictions in place because of which we do not allow connections to external data sources. Okay, Giles has a question. Will the slide deck from today also be shared? Yes, we will share it on community. Okay, I guess those are all the questions. I'll now hand off to Abhinay for the next part of this workshop.
Right. Thank you, Nikhil. I'll share my screen. Just let me know when you are able to see it. Okay.
Yes.
I'm sharing my
it is
PowerPoint.
visible. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Abhinay. I'm a practice manager with professional services at BMC, and among other product lines, I'm also focused on Helix dashboards. And as part of Center of Excellence for Helix Dashboard, me and my team are actively working with all the projects, customers who are doing these conversions, collecting feedback from them, and we pass it on back to Nikhil and rest of the product team. We also collate all those experience and establish certain best practices that we can leverage in our engagements later on in with other customers. So with that, let me move to the agenda. So we've heard Nikhil talk about why we should move from the legacy reporting system to the latest product from BMC. What are the advantages? What are the good features that come with it? And uh, how it helps put everything together under the SaaS Ops umbrella. Now let's talk about how do we do this. So you might have thousands of reports and might be wondering, how do we start this whole transition, and if there are certain learnings that that we can take advantage of that from people who have already done this. So we'll talk about all of this in next 45 minutes or so. So this entire transition can be divided into 5 major phases, and we'll talk about all of these phases and all the activities in more detail later on. But uh, at a very high level, we have 5 phases. Start with prepare, plan, migrate and validate, and finally transition. Now, prepare is where we all of us are right now. So we are trying to understand what the new platform is all about. How is it different or similar to the existing platform? And get a general awareness. So, the prerequisite trainings that you might have attended, this webinar, and similar other awareness sessions that you might do will account for this phase. And this is very important because unless you have an understanding of where we are now and where we are trying to go, what's the relation between the two platforms, it's difficult to plan it, plan the rest of the journey better. And planning, we'll talk about all these activities in more detail, but essentially here we want to get more granular. We want to plan out different phases, how we have different waves or iterations, sprints, whatever you want to call them, of these the reports. What's the priority and what's the apply certain filters, what all reports matter to us most, and finally create a more granular plan for the reports that we want to migrate. Next, we have migrate and validate, and both go hand in hand. So it's much more iterative approach. So you have certain reports that you do that you convert from smart reporting over to Helix dashboard. But again, does it make sense to the end user? So the validation is really important there, and there would be feedback back to the team that's doing the migration. Now, I have listed BMC PS as the team who is doing the migration in this slide and a couple of other slides, but feel free to substitute that with any team that's doing the migration. It could be BMC PS, it could be organization's in-house team, or it could be any other services partner. So the idea is to identify the different roles and responsibilities. So feel free to substitute that. Now, validation, coming back to the validation, so that comes from the end user of the reports. So the team that is doing the conversion, they'll anyway do their own gap analysis and updations, modifications, but then again, does the report make sense to the end user? And finally, transition, where we go live. And if there is an external team involved, PMCPS or a services partner, so they'll do a knowledge transfer. How did the transition, and what were the lessons learned, and how some of the tricky reports were done, and so on. Now, the two platforms are different. They are built on different technology. So the way they function is different. So it's very important to understand some of these mappings. Now, there are many more features and objects that are present in the platforms, but we're not talking about everything here. We are talking about the ones that matter most for the migration time and effort, right? So in this sense, in terms of impact to time and effort, these are the four objects: reports, dashboards, broadcasts, and linked reports, which will have the biggest impact. Now, the first thing that you would notice, and probably you have already during your prerequisite WBTs, is that Helix dashboard. In that world, everything is a dashboard. In smart reporting, you have different type of reports. It could be a standalone report, or could be a co-display report which has embedded reports, or a dashboard which has reports linked to it, and so on. So, but in case of Helix dashboard, it's all dashboard with one or more panels. So a co-display report will translate to a multi-panel dashboard. A report with multiple charts, multiple visualizations will map to a multi-panel dashboard. And dashboard will obviously map to our dashboard. And the other features have the corresponding features in Helix dashboard world. Now, some of these object types are supported by the conversion utility, and some of them are not, and some of them have conditional support. So for examples, the chart types. So some of the chart types are supported by the tool and some of them are not. And we'll talk a little more about this in the next slide. But this will, understanding usage of these features will give an idea what part of it can be done by the tool, what cannot be done by the tool. And there are other scenarios and considerations which we need to think about when we are doing the analysis and deciding whether we'll use migration tool for these reports or not. I'll talk a little more about that in later slides. Now, chart type mapping, so type of visualization that you're using. Like I said, some of them are not supported by the migration tool, and in certain cases, there may not be a corresponding visualization available on dashboard side. So in certain cases, like bar charts, so you have different type of bar charts in smart reporting world. On Helix dashboard, everything is a bar chart. Then you configure how it shows up: vertical, 3D, horizontal, and so on. But in some cases, like thermometer, there's nothing corresponding to that in Helix dashboard world. So that cannot be supported by the tool, and there will be some other cases. Now, this list is always evolving. So I'll highly recommend look at the latest dashboard documentation to find out the latest mapping and chart types. Okay, now we understand what are the parameters that we need to understand how we are using them in smart reporting so that we have an understanding of time and effort it will take to do the migration. So this is where the assessment comes in. And when we do these assessment, what we are essentially doing is executing certain SQL queries to extract all these data points. And there are a lot of these queries listed on Helix dashboard documentation. So I'll highly recommend you go through that documentation link to see what all aspects of your smart reporting usage you want to extract. But like we discussed in the previous slides, what we are really looking for is some of these key features, including number of reports, total reports that you have, the type of reports or visualizations. So whether they are co-displays or whether they are standalone reports, what type of visualizations they are using, are those visualizations supported by the conversion tool or not? Complexity of report, so different type of reports will have different factors. So in general, calculated fields, filters, advanced DB functions, all of these will contribute to complexity of a report. For a core display report, it would be how many embedded reports are there and so on. Now, how frequently the report is executed and when was the last time that somebody looked at this report. So this will give us a very important understanding that what's the priority of that report? Is this report really in use or not? So, and we'll talk about this later on, but this will help us in tightening the scope of this entire migration. And finally, the other aspects are dashboards, how many reports are linked to that particular dashboard, how many broadcasts do we have, how many drill down, drill through linking we have. So let me take you to through a sample assessment that we have done for our sample data set, just to give you an idea of how that looks like and how it helps us in understanding the effort. So let me stop this PowerPoint share and I'll share a spreadsheet. So Nikhil and Kshitija, if you can please let me know when you can see it.
I can see now.
All right, thank you. So the assessment report that you see on the screen, that's using a custom version of those assessment queries that we within professional services use during the analysis phase of a project. But they are all based on the same queries that I talked about. It's available on BMC Docs. We have just collated them and created a view that makes most sense for us. Now, let's talk through what we are getting from this assessment. So we have report names, the hit count for last 90 days. Now this will differ for every organization. Some organization may want to look at a bigger window past 120 days, 180 days. So that depends on the organization, how far back they want to look at. But this gives a clear idea about how frequently that report is getting used. And we can also get a date. So when was it last accessed? Public and private. So now there may be a lot of private reports hiding somewhere, and you may or may not know that they are important, not important, and so on. So again, that's important consideration. Visualization type. So what type of visualization are we using? Like I said, complexity of report, that's determined mainly by these two factors. So how many calculated fields are you using? So it doesn't impact the actual migration, but during validation, you will have to be cognizant of those, that everything is working as expected. Database functions, so advanced database functions cannot be migrated, so they have to be reworked. So that's again very important factor. Drill down and drill throughs, broadcast. So how many of these are we using for which report? If it's a core display report, the complexity would, like I said, depend on how many embedded reports do we have. And the dashboard names. Now, using this assessment, we can get different data points, like how many of these chart types are supported by the tool, how many are not, and then get an understanding of how much effort that's going to take. Because if the visualization is not supported, that can still be migrated by the tool as a tabular report. So it creates a single panel in Helix dashboard with a table, and then you can manually update it with visualization that you feel is most appropriate for that kind of a data. All right, so let's go back to the PowerPoint and resume our presentation. Kshitija, can you confirm are we back on
Yes.
the PowerPoint? Okay, thank you. All right, so let's talk a little more deeply into the migration process. Where we did touch upon some of the initial phases. So what are we doing during awareness session and the assessment? And once we have done this kind of a deep dive assessment, we know what kind of usage we are talking about. The first thing to do is to filter the reports that we want to migrate. Now, typically there would be many reports that are not getting used. So they are the candidates that you would want to drop. There may be other factors that some of the reports, maybe they are getting hit because they are part of certain dashboard, but they are not really needed and so on. So at this point, it's a good time to stop and think, do we really need that report to be migrated? Finally, after filtering those, it's important that we prioritize. So that will help us in breaking down into different phases, and starting, we can then start with the most high priority reports. So in the assessment that you saw, it was for top 50 reports. So there were many more reports, but there the idea was, let's do only top 50. And again, top 50 was for the pilot phase. It's perfectly reasonable that you would want to do a few more, but then they should be tackled in next phases rather than trying to do everything in the first go. Now that we have a scope defined for the pilot phase, we should do a deeper analysis of each of those reports. When I say a deeper analysis, what we want to understand is whether we want to convert that report, whether we want to recreate that report, or we want to reuse something that's already available out of box. Now, if you have something available out of box or through marketplace or from the communities, you can simply mark that report as substituted by something that we already have. So it doesn't need to be migrated. recreate, when we say recreate, in many cases, it may make more sense that we recreate that report from scratch to leverage all the good features that you're getting with the new platform. And later on this session, we'll have Kshitija talk about Visual Query Builder and Metadata Studio. So that's another good approach of doing migration instead of doing, um, you know, reusing the same SQL, so to speak, and converting it into Helix dashboard. So that's another possibility, and it's also possible that that the report needs updation. It can be done in a different way now that you have data available from multiple sources from across Helix product lines. So probably some of those reports can be reimagined and redesigned. So this is where Recreate comes in. For rest of the reports where you feel that the same report works is good enough, we can just take it as is to the Helix dashboard. While the look and feel might be different, but essentially the kind of data that you are pulling in and how you are representing that all makes sense, then we can go for a conversion. So for conversion, the first step is that we use the tool assisted conversion. You run the tool. It has its own limitations, like we talked about earlier. And based on what it migrates and what it does not migrate, some of the reports will have to be recreated manually. Now, when I say recreated, again, it can be done in different ways. One is the query builder that I mentioned. The other is exporting the SQL query and reusing that to create a report. Now, the migration team, so PS, like I said, PS, or it could be your in-house teams. Once the migration team does their own gap analysis, they see how it compares with smart reporting, not the look and feel, but the data. Does the data make sense? If there are any differences, then maybe something did not get migrated properly, and we need to update that report manually. So once that is done, the validation comes in. We go to the end users for user acceptance test. And once the end users are satisfied, those can be released in the live environment production. Like I said, these two phases go hand in hand, so they are much more iterative. And for this phase, what I would recommend from within the pilot phase scope, again, you can break it down into different sprints. So it could be something like 10 reports, or obviously it depends on the complexity of the report. So every sprint you'll have to take that into consideration, but essentially break it down into much more manageable chunk. Some organizations may want to do kind waterfall kind of approach, so do all the pilot phase reports at a time, then go to user acceptance review, and then go live. And while others may want to do this sprint or agile kind of way. Both are equally fine. It depends on organization way of functioning. But the idea is to keep the pilot phase small, which will help you in doing this analysis better, rather than trying to migrate everything without that thinking. Once the pilot phase is done, we can go back and pick up the next set of priority reports. So let's say we did top 50 in the phase 1 pilot phase. We do again next 50 or next 100 and go on. Now, let's talk about some of the learnings from other customers. So there are many, but one biggest one that we have seen across the board, across all customers, is report sprawl. Now, when we first get engaged, when we first talk to customers, so we generally see a very large number of reports because it's completely self-service driven, so anyone can go in and create a report. What ends up happening is over years, many reports get created which are not even getting used. So these can be something that somebody created a copy of report. They had some ideas, but they didn't really go through with it. So it's lying there unused. It's simply a copy. So these reports obviously are not adding any value, and there's no point in putting time and effort in migrating those. Another scenario is that that report was created as a one-time use report. Now it's no longer needed. It served its purpose, so we don't need to migrate those reports. Other scenarios may include reorganization. So teams have changed, teams have moved. That data does not really fit into either of the teams, so nobody is looking at it, and so on. So the number might vary, but typically what we have seen is upwards of 50% reports are not getting used. So 50 is very common. I have seen as high as 90% reports are not really interesting to them anymore. So we had somebody, one customer who started with 2,000 reports, but after their first look, they said, okay, we just want to consider 200. Rest of it is not really important, either not getting used or not really important. So that's again not very uncommon. So coming down to 10% of those reports. So this is where the assessment will play a crucial role. So tighten your scope. The next is redundancy in reports. So now many of the reports can be replaced by something better that is available either out of box or through communities or through marketplace. So for example, in communities, you have a dashboard. Somebody has contributed a dashboard for Kubernetes monitoring. Now, if that's what you are interested in, why create everything from scratch? We can reuse that, so that can be exported and imported. There are a lot of out-of-box reports, like Nikhil talked about quite a few of them, and product team is adding new ones every release. So expect more to come by the time you are at that point of the journey in your transition. So take a look at what is available out of box and what can be reused and doesn't need that report to be migrated. The other features which can again be helpful in this regard are new console. So ticket console and asset console. I have those screenshots on the right-hand side of the screen. So you have shared ticket console where you can see a simple tabular listing of all the tickets. You can filter them, you can export the results, save these presets. So this can again be helpful, and it can probably substitute a lot of the reports that you might have created for just this kind of information. Same goes for the asset console. So if you are just interested in tabular listing of assets with certain filters applied, probably this can help you. You can export this just like the shared ticket console. Now, finally, the last thing I would stress upon is the phase planning. So it's while it's very tempting that we have this migration utility available, why don't we run it across for all the reports that we have and we'll see what happens. While that can migrate a large number of reports, but again, the important bottleneck would be validation. So if you are migrating thousands of reports, the end users, for them to go through each of those reports will take a lot of time, and they may be investing time in the reports that are not really important. So that's why if we have these small bite-sized phases, they can be planned better, and we can do this kind of an analysis much more at a granular level and take what is more important and most high priority. And that way, the end users are not overburdened. They're looking at the most high priority reports first, and then others. Okay, so that takes us to some of the resources that are available to you for starting your journey. The first stop for anyone should be BMC documentation. New version is out, so please take a look at the new one. My slide talks about 23.2, 24.2 is out, and Kshitija and Nikhil can correct me. And then it talks about all of the information that I have talked about in terms of assessment queries, features, and the migration tool, and so on. So this would be the first stop for you. Next important one, of course, is education courses. So there are a lot of trainings available, web-based trainings, instructor-led trainings, and they start from very basics, an overview, and they go all the way up to a certification path. So depending on what kind of training you would want to do, you can pick and choose or follow the entire certification path if that interests you. There are a lot of webinars that have been done in the past by various teams within BMC, customer success teams, support team, and others. So take a look at some of these recordings. Some of them might help you in your journey. They are all focused on different aspects, so they may be helpful in different phases of your transition. This one is a little more specific to the transition. So from documentation, from the webinar, so this is much more tighter collation of what we have talked about in the past 2 slides. Helix dashboard communities. So I talked about community contributed content, and this is where you can find it. Not just that, the other for the other reasons you may want to go there is raising a new feature request. So you can create a new idea, others can also vote upon it, and product team can consider those for the future roadmap if they apply it to a wider community. You can that's also an excellent platform for raising questions. So you have other users, you have BMC employees looking at that portal to answering questions. So some of these can help you. Finally, I would want to talk about 2 offerings, catalog offerings from professional services. So if you need help in BMC PS to help you with this transition, you can take use of these 2 service offerings. The one on the left applies for a transition from smart reporting to dashboards. The one on the right is more intended towards starting from scratch kind of an approach. So both of them have similar structure in the sense that they'll have one project architect delivering a workshop, helping you with the analysis, requirement analysis, and solution design, and followed by the implementation. So for the transition, it is time bound with 200 hours of an BMC expert who will do those conversions. So they'll help you within that time range, whatever can be migrated. And the other one, the one on the right, it's based on a different complexity of reports. So if you are starting from scratch, what are your requirements? Classify them in these buckets and then build those for you. So that's all I had for today. So I'll end my presentation and we'll take a look at the questions before I hand it over to Shritaja. So I have a question that says bar charts not available and unsupported in dashboards. Is it still possible to migrate the report, build a new visual chart? So bar charts, Dev, are supported. It's just that, like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, you have horizontal, vertical, different types in smart reporting, whereas in dashboard, it is just called bar chart, and then you can configure how it appears. And also, just to add, for the visualizations which are not supported, they'll still be migrated, but as a tabular report. And then you can add the visualization. I guess that addresses the part 2 of your question. Next question we have from Anish. In smart reporting, we have a limit of number of rows to export. Is there any limit within dashboard? So I think, Kshitija, you might be better placed to answer that.
Sorry.
So the question
which
is,
question? Yeah.
It's from Anish. Second question, in
Yeah.
smart reporting, we have limit. Okay.
We have a limit of number of rows to export. Yeah. So row limit is available to be config, and it's configurable on AR server side, right? So whatever row limit you define on AR server side, suppose it is 2000 or 5000, then 5000 will be a row limit on dashboard side. And if at panel level, so there is a configuration available at panel level as well. And if you define any row limit at panel level, like limit 10, then that will take a precedence and it will be a 10 rows of limit there. But if you don't define anything, then the row limit will be taken from the centralized configuration of AR server.
So Deb and Anish, hope we have answered your questions. If not, please feel free to raise hand and I'll let you unmute so you can put your question forward. Okay, so Deb has hand raised. Deb, you should be able to unmute now.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So when you were saying certain visuals that are in smart reporting are not available as such in Helix dashboards reporting, therefore, obviously you would need to recreate those visuals, etc. If it has one of those types of unsupported charts in the report that you're migrating, will it still be allowed to migrate, or is it going to throw you an error? And if it throws you an error, is it going to tell you, oh yeah, kind of remove that report because it's unsupported, as opposed to some cryptic error that you have to look up?
Right. So the tool will allow you to migrate that. And what actually happens is it migrates the SQL query, underlying SQL query, and you'll have that as a tabular report in Helix dashboard. So let's say thermometer or something exotic that's not available in Helix dashboard. So what you'll have in Helix dashboard is a simple tabular report, and then it will allow you to add a visualization.
Okay. And so it'll allow you to migrate it without error, and then
Yes,
allow you to
without
change
error.
it. Okay.
Correct.
And the if you have, well, two questions. The calculations that are built into those reports on smart reporting, will they migrate too, or would you have to rebuild them?
Calculated fields, right? So
Yeah.
they are migrated.
Okay. And the access to that report, privacy, etc.? Will they not privacy, like so only certain people see it? If it's not a public report, it's a private report. Does that information come across too, or does it have to be reset up as soon as it comes in? And the same
I
with
believe
if it's a job running, I assume you have to set that up when it gets migrated.
right. So that has to be reconfigured, I believe, and I think Kshitija would be better placed.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, it
right.
has to be reconfigured once it is migrated.
Deb, does that help?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. We had one more question from John. Can reports be exported to Excel? Oh, it's already answered.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kshitija.
Can we see a migration? Sorry. Like, are you able to demo a migration of a report coming across, or is that not possible in the session?
So we had not planned that because that was covered as part of one of the prereq WPTs. So if you have
Okay, that's fine.
yeah.
I
So you
couldn't
can
get
take a look
to
at
I couldn't get to one of the WPTs, but I think someone else is working on that. That was the question. Okay, so if it's in
Got
one
it.
of those, then that's fine. Thank you.
Got it.
Yeah, Abhinay, there's one more question. How are date times handled in migration where the formatting is different in Helix dashboards? Do you have to manually update after migration?
Kshitija?
So date time, whenever there is a time range which is getting migrated, so you have to do certain modifications in the query to be able to pass the time picker time range from the dashboard side. But it will be part of the query, but few modifications will be needed. Other calculated like month of submit date or something like that, if it is there as a part of query, it will be as it is migrated. But only the time picker part, which is there in the where condition, that need to be taken care.
Sarah, hope that answers. If not, please feel free to raise hand and I'll unmute you. Okay, I think we're done with all questions. So over to you, Kshitija.
Yeah. Thank you, Abhinay. I'll share my screen and please confirm if my screen is visible.
Yep, I can see.
So I'm presenting PowerPoint. Yeah.
Yes, visible.
Myself, Kshitija Marathi, I'm part of Helix Dashboards R&D team, and I'm working as a product developer in this team. So just to begin with, I'll be covering today BMC Helix Dashboards Visual Query Builder feature. So what were the challenges earlier we faced? Like building of dashboards require understanding of complex schemas. So in Helix Dashboards, we are having certain ways to generate query, like SQL is one of the type, then form type is also there. I'll come to the demo and I'll show that as well. So to write SQL, you need to have understanding of SQL constructs, as well as you need to know the ITSM schemas there. So, and it will be a trial and error method to go ahead and design your dashboard. So to just get rid of all these challenges, we have come up with a drag drop user experience which was earlier not earlier was lacking. If we compare smart reporting to Helix dashboards, there was self-service which were lacking, and that we have introduced as a part of Visual Query Builder feature. So as a part of this feature, we'll have support for defining metadata layer, and which will hide the database complexity, or for the report designer who is actually designing the dashboard, who need not have to worry about how to write SQL, and he need not have to worry about the join criteria. As if you want to pull data from multiple tables, then that is all predefined in the metadata layer. And so we have certain metadata views which we are shipping out of the box for ITSM, BWF, DWP, and there, with that reference, this Visual Query Builder will be able to generate the query on the fly using drag drop user experience. So I'll just go ahead with demo so that you'll be understanding. So I have logged into the dashboards, and I'm on to the Helix dashboards homepage here. And I'll start creating a new dashboard for you. I'll add visualization. So this Visual Query Builder feature is available for the service management query type. So when you select data source as BMC Helix and query type as service management, then in the type, you will start seeing Visual Query Builder option. So from 23.4 of Helix dashboards, we started giving this third option. And earlier it was in controlled availability. And if you will consume the latest features, so you want to consume latest features of Visual Query Builder, then yes, it's better to get upgraded to the latest version of Helix dashboards. So, let me just give you a context that how Visual Query Builder is effective. So this is a form type which is selected by default, and this is a guided guided flow. So for example, I'll choose one of the form, and then I have to be so I have to choose column from that form. So I should be aware of what columns I want to choose, and that I can search here. But I want for that I need to know the ITSM schema well. Also, if you want to write multiple table query, then you can add the multiple tables from here, and then you need to know what is the join criteria. So these all information or database schema related information you need to know about to use form type. It's a guided flow, but you need to be aware of the ITSM schema. And then the next is SQL, which is a plain, it's a direct SQL query it supports, and you can either copy the SQL from smart reporting if you have smart reporting queries here, or you can write it on your own. But this needs both ITSM schema understanding as well as you need to know how to write SQL query. You need to be well aware of SQL constructs here. So, and the third option, which is a Visual Query Builder. Here you will see if I, so these are the metadata views which we are shipping out of the box. So far, we have 13 out of the box views for different ITSM modules like incident, change, problem, work order, then BWF, task management, asset, CMDB, incident management archive, SLM. So these are available views, and from this, if you choose incident management, you can see on the left hand side, there are different folders or categories available. If you expand one of the category, you will see the fields. So these are the list of fields available under this category, which are defined in the metadata layer. And the beauty of this feature is, suppose I have 100 fields in HPD help desk table, and I want only 15 columns or fields which I want to use for reporting purpose. Then this metadata layer allows you to define those only 15 fields, and that only 15 fields will be exposed to the Visual Query Builder UI. So as per your definition of metadata layer, you will see the list of fields under different categories. So here, as an example, I'll just take incident number, drag and drop it. Then I'll take a priority and I'll hit preview. Once I'll hit preview, I will start seeing the top 100 rows as a part of preview. When you will use this query, you will see the data based on your row limit set. But in preview, you will see top 100 rows here. Also, if you click on SQL, then you will see what is the query which got generated on the fly. So let me do some more changes, apply aggregation to the incident number. So there are different options. Different aggregation options are available. So for incident number, it's a character field, and aggregation options available are count and count distinct. So based on the other field type, like if it's a numeric field, then aggregation options will be more and it will be available. So I'll show that in the later part. I will apply the count aggregation on incident number, and I'll again hit preview. Now it will start showing me incidents grouped based on the priority. If I use this query gets pasted here. I can choose the visualization from the right hand side. Suppose I want to build a pie chart. So I will just say select pie chart here and say all values, and I'm done with the panel creation. I will save this dashboard. And I'm done with creating a panel. Then next thing, I can go ahead with second panel, select incident management. Here I'll choose again incident number. Then maybe I can go for assign group priority. And I'll just hit preview. And then I can use this query if I want to say I want to generate a cross tab based on this. Then I will choose BMC cross tab panel or visualization from here. And I have to add the pivot categories here. So the 3 fields which I have dragged and drop in Visual Query Builder UI, those are visible here. And I can choose what is my column field, row field, and value field. So I'll choose incident number as a value field, assigned group, and priority. Yeah, I think I need, I forgot to apply the aggregation here. Apply, review, use query, and you will start seeing the required result. And my cross tab is also ready here. So you're seeing the difference. With the help of Visual Query Builder, you are able to generate a query in very short span of time. Now, this Visual Query Builder feature also can be used in defining variables. So here, from here, I can add variable, say priority, and my type is query. So here we have added option to enable query editor. So earlier it was a text field. There you need to write a query in certain by following certain convention, and then you'll be able to define variables that way. But instead of writing the query, if you have a Visual Query Builder option here, then from here, do the same thing. Just choose priority field here, because I want to add a filter for priority. Use this query. This query gets copied, and you can see a preview of values here. Apply this and you're done creating a variable for the priority field. Save this, go back here, and you can see the priority got added. Now, if I want to apply this priority filter into the Visual Query, the query which I generated using Visual Query Builder. So how to apply filter here? So again, in filter section, I will use the drag and drop priority column here. And so there are different ways. If I want to if I want to just use hard-coded value, like if I'm interested in seeing only critical priority incidents, then you can hard code, as well as this priority field is enum type of a field on ITSM. So if you click here, then you will start seeing these values are getting populated from the database. You can choose it from here as well, or type as critical. So that is one way to pass the filter condition to the query. Or if you want multiple values to be passed from the for the filter, then you can use other operators, like in operator you can use. And also there is a, if you can see here, template priority you can see. So what is the template priority? It's a variable which you defined. So if I choose this priority, then you can pass the value of priority at runtime. So user will choose the value at runtime and it will be passed. So if I say I choose this, and okay, I think I need, as there are multiple values, I need to use in operator. And right now I have selected critical priority. So it will start showing critical, how many critical incidents are there. If I choose high, then it will show high priority incidents. So like this, you will be able to apply the filter condition to the query. Then there are some other additional features in Visual Query Builder. So let me pick just to let you aware about this, that you can see different icons for different type of fields. So incident number is a dimension field. There you can see this icon. Then urgency, impact, priority are enum fields. You can see the different icon for this. Also, if you go down, you will see group transfer, individual transfer. These are numeric fields. So you can see the icon is based on the field type. And also you can see a calculator icon here. So these are the calculated fields which we have already predefined in the metadata layer. So if I choose, for example, open incidents and hit preview, then I don't have to write the entire condition that how to get a count of open incidents. So it is taken care on the fly because I have defined that formula at a metadata layer. And you can see the SQL generated with a formula for getting the open incidents. So this is just a drag drop when Visual Query Builder is being used. So it's all about how you define or configure the metadata layer based on your requirement. Then the another thing which I want to cover is about okay, let me pick one numeric field here. So you can see aggregated field aggregation options will change based on the field type. So you can see there are average, count, sum, max that also can be used on numeric fields. Also, we have an option to order by setting order by here, ascending or descending. Also, there will be in upcoming releases, there will be a few more functions which will be getting added regarding year, month functions on the date fields, which are very commonly used, and that will get added. So here you can see submit date. So here you will, those functions also will be shown based on the field type. So if you drag drop date field, then your function list will change. So this is not currently available, but it is in the upcoming release, which will be getting released in few days now. That feature is going to be available. Now, the next thing which I wanted to cover is, maybe I'll go for the submit date here. So how to pass the time picker range. So in dashboard, if you can see, we have a time picker and we can choose last 1 year, last 30 days at dashboard level. And how to pass that at runtime. So I just drag drop submit date. As this is a date type of field, I started getting automatically a between operator and from and to. So if I click on from and type $, then I can select template from. And here, if I type dollar, I can select 2. So with this, what you are doing is if there is a last 30 days time range selected on the dashboard, then that will get passed via this macros, which are already available. And if you preview, it is showing no data because there is no data in last 6 hours. But if you, and you can see in where condition, this got added, the from and to part. So if you choose any long range, then it will start showing the data based on the time range selected. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to cover on Visual Query Builder part. So this feature has mainly 2 use cases here, so or 2 personas, I would say. So Visual Query Builder, just what we have looked at is a user persona. But now how to define metadata layer? That's the admin persona of it. So I'll start with that part now. So Abhinav, if you can confirm, you can see my screen. I'm sharing on VM now.
Yeah, I can see File Explorer.
Yeah. So this admin persona is nothing but a reporting metadata studio. We call it as reporting metadata studio. It's a standalone utility which will let you define or design the metadata layer as per your need. So the way we have seen, like there are 13 out of the box views which we have already configured and defined, and we are shipping as out of the box. But if customer want to define their own views, own custom views, or they want to change or add columns by referring to the out of the box views, then how we can do that? So this is the utility which will allow you to define a metadata layer, which will be from scratch. Also, you can write or you can design the metadata layer, or by referring to the out of the box view, you can copy out of the box view and you can make changes and publish it. So let me give you some prerequisites which are needed to start using this metadata studio. So if you can see here, right now, at present, we have this utility available in controlled availability. On demand, it is available, and it is on a shared location. So if so the first step to go ahead and start using this is to get the zip downloaded and extract the zip. And once you extract the zip, you will see this reporting metadata studio, and the metadata editor is the main folder which you will see. Then inside this folder, we have a configuration folder, BMC auth configuration. So this is one-time configuration which you will have to do. So if you people are aware about how we use Developer Studio client tool to do customizations, the similar way you can use this utility to define metadata layer. So there is a one-time configuration here you have to do. So if you look at this, there are 2 environment.properties and profile.property file, which you have to fill in, and then you can start using this utility. So what all parameters are needed? So tenant ID, tenant URL. So what is this tenant ID and URL? It is nothing but the dashboard's URL. So this is the tenant URL. And when you start using the dashboard, you will see the org ID, which is getting into the URL. That org ID is nothing but a tenant ID, which you will have to populate here. Then AR host and RPC port. These information is already available if you are already using Developer Studio from any jump box or and then REST endpoint URL. This is nothing but the URL which is available from the data source configuration. You will see this maybe. Okay. I will go to the administration here, data sources. And in BMC Helix data source, you will see platform URL. This is that URL, which we are referring to as REST endpoint here. And environment alias is nothing but it's the user-friendly name which you want to give to your environment to identify your environment. Like usually we have dev, QA, and prod. These are the three environments. So you can define the name accordingly. And you are done with environment.properties. Save this file. Then come here, profile.properties. Now, how to get this key and secret? So this is per user profile. You can generate two keys and secret. So how to do that? That also I'll go here. So I have logged in with this user, and if you can see here my profile, click on that. Here you will see my access keys. I have already defined one key which is active. And from here again, I can add one new key. I can provide any name. Then I can provide a key expiry. And if I say confirm, then my key gets generated. And if I say copy all key details and copy this and maybe paste it here, you will start seeing the key details. So this is the key and this is the secret. So this you have to copy and put it here into the profile.properties and save this profile.properties. And you are done with this one-time configuration. And now I want to launch the utility. So either you can do command line or you can click on batch file and you will be able to launch it. So I'm clicking on this batch file and this will be launched now. The utility is, I logged into this utility successfully now, and you can see the home page of it. So now from here, there is a file menu and there are certain options available. So if I want to generate a new uh, new metadata view altogether without referring to out of the box view, then you can go ahead and say file new and domain file. Once you click here, then you need to check the connection, and then you'll be able to define business models. But the second use case, which is more common, it is about referring to the existing out of the box views and create own view from that. So how to do that? So there is an option to import from Helix dashboards. Click on this and you will start seeing the out of the box view list. From here, you can pick any one which makes sense as per your requirement. Or there is a sample view as well available as out of the box view, which also you can refer. Right now I'm picking incident management view. I'll hit OK. This will ask you for the name. You can give any name. It's just for a local file system. Once you import this, yes, the view got loaded. And here you can see on the left-hand side, we have connections and business models. So let me take you through the connections. So connection is already created here as you are referring to the existing view. It is already in place. And based on the properties file configuration, your custom connection URL is also configured. So you don't have to worry about how to configure this connection URL, etc. Only the thing you need to do is authenticating yourself. So say I'll use demo user and I'll test this connection. Connection is successful and I'll hit OK. Now, inside this connection, you can see what all tables which are already added into this metadata view. And now you want to add one additional table. So you just go ahead and use a right click on this connection and you will see import tables option. Click on it. It will show you all the tables list from AR schema. Yeah. Give me a moment. I'm unable to select. Let me. Give me a moment. I'll reshare again. Sharing it again. I hope you can see my screen again. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see.
Actually, I was unable to see this filter to filter out certain table. So what I'll choose now, I'll choose one new table, which I want to add. It's a HPD incident activity log. And I'll hit OK. Now you will start seeing new table got added here. Now, how to make this table part of the business model? So here, in business models, you are already seeing that one model is already defined. So in case of creating it as a new from scratch, you will have to create a right click and new business model and save the model. And then you will start seeing the options under it. But here, as we are referring to the out of the box view, it is already in place. And we have business tables already added, but this new table is still not added here. So what I'll do, right click and new business table. And here I'll select the new table. And here now you can provide any name to the, provide any name to the particular business table. Only the thing is, in ID field of business table, you will not have to give a space here. You can either use underscore or use it without space, but in IDs you cannot use space. But you can use the name as per your readability or requirement. And here, as a label, you can give any user-friendly name. I'll just keep the same name for now and hit OK. On the right-hand side, you can see in object relationship diagram, I started seeing the new table. But now I want to define a relationship between HPD help desk and activity log. How to do that? So this is the second step, wherein you can see the list of relationships I have already defined here. Now I want to define a new relationship and choose HPD help desk as a base table or primary table and incident activity log as the secondary table. Now here I will choose incident number. Okay, let me choose the incident number from the list of fields. This is showing the list of all fields as we are in admin persona and we are defining what we need. Yeah, HPD incident number. And then here from this activity log, I'll choose incident ID. So this will be my join criteria to match the records between these two tables. And I'll hit OK. And my relationship definition will be done. So now there is a way to have left outer join, right outer join. So I'll choose left outer join. And then I have a complex join flag here. So if I hit on complex join and then add a join condition here. Then I can add additional criteria. Say, for example, I want to add, say, company equal to XYZ as an additional criteria, so that it will show only incidents with that particular XYZ company. So that will be my additional criteria, which will be getting added to this join criteria. So for now, I'll keep it simple and hit OK. And I'm done with defining relationships. Now I'm into the third step, which is a business view. So on left-hand side, you can see the categories which we were looking at, the same categories on Visual Query Builder UI. The same categories appeared here as I'm referring to incident management view. Now, if I want to add new category, I can right click and add a new category, or I can go to manage categories to see all the existing categories. And from here also I get add new category option. Then I'll choose activity log. I'll define it as activity log. And you can see it started appearing a new category. Now from this new table, I want to add certain fields, maybe incident ID, then I can add submitter, summary, work info type, etc. So these 4 fields I have added from the activity log, from the activity log table to this activity log category. And I'm done. And further, if you want to change certain properties of the column, then you can define ID based on your need. So by default, it gets populated, but if you want to change, you can change this. Also label it with maybe with space if you want. You can change the label as well. Then there are certain properties like if you want to have any default aggregation to be available on any column, then you can define it here by overriding the default value. Also, you can define, so data type is already defined and it is taken from the database layer. But if you want to define a length, say, for example, you have a CLOP field and you want to limit it to certain length, then you can do that. Or for numeric field, you can mention the precision, etc. Also, field type, by default, it is set as dimension. But if, say, for example, you are creating a calculated field, then you need to set it to certain field type that I'll cover when I'll talk about calculated field. And this, yeah, that's it. So now I'll just cover the calculated fields part. So I'll take one existing calculated field, maybe resolved incidents, and how I have defined this. So I've just defined ID label for this calculated field. And as I'm interested in aggregation, sum aggregation, I have defined this. I have set a data type as numeric, as it's a sum, which is going to be returned from this. and a field type. So whenever you are defining a calculated field type, you need to set as fact. And formula here I have defined as a case when statement, which is sum of case when the status is resolved, count it as 1. So the similar way you can define based on your need a calculated a calculation or a formula, and you need to use this flag. You need to make it on is the formula exact, so that your query generation algorithm will not interfere into the formula which you have defined. It will consider this formula as it is whenever generating a query. Hence, this flag need to be set as on. So now how I have added this column itself into the business table. So what you can do is so for example, I want to add calculated field under this business table. So what I'll do, I will edit this, right click on business table and edit it. And here you will see add new column option on the left pane. And you can choose any column, as we are going to change the properties, or you can choose a relevant one. Like if you want to, for example, you are defining a calculated field for category tier 1 of operational category, then you can choose operational category field itself from here. And then while defining a formula for it, anyway, you are going to change the value of that formula. So once I hit add here, so it got added as entry ID 2, as entry ID itself exists already in that business table, and I'm adding it as an additional calculated field here. So I'll just say close incidents, and here also I'll say closed incidents, and in the formula I'll put the case when statement, and here I can say, instead of resolved, I'll say closed. And I will switch this flag on also. Field type I'll set as fact. Then I want a sum as aggregation. That also I will just click here and choose sum here. And I'll hit OK. Now I want to add this calculated field into this category. So I will go here, manage categories, and from here, okay, so I have added in HPD help desk table, so it will appear under this HPD help desk table only. At the end, it gets added. So it has not renamed, but this is what got added, and you can, let me check why it is not renamed. Okay, I think it was not saved somehow, but like this, you can add the calculated field, and make it a part of your category. Okay, for now I'll cancel this, but yeah, this is how you can define. So what I'll do now, let me make it on, hit OK. Okay. And now you can see here closed INC got added. From here now I'll see at the end closed incident got added. And you can just drop it here under this category if needed. Now I'll save this view as I'm done with all the changes. Now, whenever you are saving this, you also need to publish it as well. Only saving will not work on Visual Query Builder side, because Visual Query Builder will only understand when you will publish it to the Helix dashboards. So the next step will be publish to Helix dashboard. Now, here again in publish to Helix dashboard option, you can configure multiple environments. For example, you are doing your work of developing this metadata view on dev environment. Then you can publish it on dev environment first. Then you want to migrate the same thing to QA and as well as prod further. Then in that case, you can configure the tenant environment from here. So if you choose this, you will get an option to add a new environment and provide all these parameters as we have seen already in properties file. You need to define the same thing here and hit OK. Then you will start seeing the second environment also got configured, and you can switch to that environment and publish. So while publishing, you can just select the second environment, which will be there in the list. So for now, I have one environment which is configured through properties file, and I will just select this. Now it will ask me for a metadata view name. So I need to provide a unique name to this. Like I'll provide and hit OK. Now here you can see you are getting the message as enter the name of metadata view for exporting to tenant this. So it is giving you a tenant ID where you are exporting this to. So once I hit OK, I'll get a message once the metadata view gets published. Okay, it is successfully published to Helix dashboards. And now I can see on the dashboard side, I'll go to Helix dashboards. Click on new dashboard, add visualization, and here I'll choose Visual Query Builder and see this newly published view is available here to the Visual Query Builder. I'll select this, it is loaded, and you can see the new category, which is activity log. It got added with whatever 4 fields we have defined under this category, as well as the calculated field also got added here. And from here, you can start drag, drop, and start using this into the Visual Query Builder. And you will see the data from this new table, which is incident activity log. So this is what how the end-to-end Visual Query Builder and admin persona works. Whenever you publish the view, it will be available to Visual Query Builder, and it can generate the query dynamically. So going back to the admin persona or metadata studio tool, we have certain additional options available, which is delete metadata view. So this delete metadata view is nothing but if you want to, so for trial purpose, you keep on creating certain views on dev environment, and you want to clean it up as it adds unnecessary things and not useful if it it just stays as it is on dev environment, some of the things. So you want to clean that up, then you can choose this option to delete metadata view. And if you hit OK, it will delete the that view. And also in Visual Query Builder, that view will not appear. Out of the box views, you will not be able to delete, but your own created custom views, you will be able to delete it. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's what I wanted to cover as a part of today's Visual Query Builder feature demo. I'm open for Q&A.
Okay, so thanks, Kshitija, for a great demo. We have a few questions. Is Visual Query Builder now available in SaaS version? Yes, it was delivered in 24.1. And yeah, 24.1 should be available to all customers. Okay, next question. Question scenario: Smart Reporting report test 1 has already been migrated to dashboards. If the user updates the Smart Reporting report, how are the updated migrated over to the Helix dashboard? Will conversion tool consider it as a duplicate report and throw error as the report already exists in dashboard, or will it update? Abhinay or Kshitija, can you answer this?
I think once it is, so conversion utility, it is run once, and once you are done with migrating that particular report, then there is no connection with which it will be able to, like Helix dashboard side, it will be able to understand that, yeah, this on smart reporting side, this report got updated. Now I need to again run the conversion utility to get the updates. It will not happen that way.
I think
Abhinay,
Vinay's question is if he reruns the tool, whether it will overwrite or, and I think tool will just error out, right, with duplicate name.
Yeah.
So that answers Vinay.
Okay. Thank you. The next question is, does the conversion tool also take care of smart reporting broadcast and schedules configuration when it migrates the report over to Helix dashboard? How is it handled?
So it does not migrate. You have to recreate it manually.
Okay. Next question. Visual Query Builder will include custom forms views or planned for future. Visual Query Builder includes only out-of-the-box forms and fields. Custom fields, you will have to add them through Report Metadata Studio, the tool that Kshitija just demoed. That is the tool you will use to add your custom forms and fields. In Visual Query Builder incident management view, will it also list the custom field somewhere? If not, can we expose it or enhance this pre-built view? I just answered this. Custom
Yeah.
fields can only be added in your metadata view through the metadata studio. That's a manual activity you need to perform once. Is there still a freehand SQL possibility? In SR, there are many limitations to use freehand SQL. Will all DB functions be available in BMC dashboards in a free SQL? Now, the Visual Query Builder makes it easy for you to build reports using drag and drop. But once a dashboard is created, once a dashboard or report is created, you have the option of editing the SQL. So if you create a report by dragging and dropping fields and you realize that it's when you dragged and dropped the fields, you realize that the query included an inner join, but to get the data you need, you probably need to change the join to an outer join. Yes, you can tweak the query and change the join to from inner to outer, whatever you need.
Yeah, just whenever you use query and come back to the main panel editor screen, there you will see option from Visual Query Builder. You need to change the type to SQL, and then you will be able to edit that query further.
Yeah.
If needed.
And good. And there's a follow-up question for this. Will all database functions be available? So this is a roadmap. This is a roadmap item that we are considering.
I think they are looking for freehand SQL only, right? So, there are list of AR-JDBC functions already defined, which are already supported in freehand SQL, and also there is a way. So there is a feature on platform side wherein you will be able to define custom functions which are supported on database side. It's a DBFN functionality, which is already available and it is into the documentation. That support we have already there in freehand SQL.
Okay. Is the one-time configuration for metadata setup done on each admin PC or is it done at some universal place?
So usually, if you just compare it with Developer Studio tool, it is done on the jump boxes, which customer already has access to. There we can set it up.
Okay. Where can I download this metadata studio form? Can you post the EPD link? We will share it when we publish product documentation. Okay. When this is out in a few days, we will specify in the product documentation where you can download it from. Do you have any knowledge article that captures the common errors encountered or solutions while running the conversion tool? Abhinay, do we have this?
I'm not aware of any one KB article which talks about all the errors.
Okay.
Kshitija?
No, at least
No, right? Yeah.
I can check, but
Is reporting metadata studio available for SaaS customers? Yes, it will be available for SaaS as well as on-prem. Can you give a use case for the metadata studio as opposed to building the query or metrics in the panel? Any any report that you build afresh from now on, not a report that you're migrating from smart reporting, but you have a new business requirement for a new dashboard or report, it's much easier to create that report in Metadata Studio rather than building the SQL or selecting from the forms and fields and building the joins manually. It's much easier to create the basic report using Metadata Studio. And as we said earlier, once you do that, once you see the SQL, if you feel the need to tweak that query, you can certainly do it. But the preferred way to build reports is to use the Metadata Studio or Query Builder really, and build all your new reports. For reports that you're migrating from smart reporting, also you should consider using the Metadata Studio first. For some complex reports, if you find it difficult to do it through the Query Builder, you may consider using the conversion tool. Are there plans to convert Metadata Studio to a cloud-based tool? We haven't considered this. We don't know at this time if it's how widespread this need is, but yeah, we will consider doing so. If there are 2000 reports in SR, then each report needs individual attentions once migrated to dashboard. I'm not sure I understand the question.
I'll take that up, Nikhil. So I believe the question is whether they will need to review each of those reports separately. So the answer is yes, because see, you want to validate the report works as you are expecting it to work. So calculated fields are working as expected. Everything got translated as expected. And so on. So if all the filters got translated correctly, or do they need tweaking? And so there can be many different things, right? So yes, you will have to do that individually for all the reports. And that is the reason that we stressed during your planning phase, it's very crucial to do that analysis. What reports are really important? What reports should be part of the initial scope? So you may have overall 2000 reports, but are they really in use? And so prioritize that way so that you can focus on each report individually during validation. Hope that answers.
Yes, yeah, that's absolutely. You need to analyze and assess which reports are truly required, and the volume of reports that are truly required is never of the order of thousands. It may be of the order of a few hundreds at the most. So you should take this opportunity to clean up all your reports and identify only those few reports that you can migrate. Typically, what happens is many customers take out of the box reports, then customize them, and that's how you get to thousands of reports. Just identify your core reports that are required, build them afresh using Query Builder and Metadata Studio or the conversion tool. And then if there need to be multiple variants of those core reports, then you can do that in dashboards. Once your basic report is created, you can save it with a different name and then customize it as required. That should be the preferred way to do that. Is it on the roadmap to add a visualization which is similar to sections in smart reporting? Do we have, Kshitija and Abhinay, do we have an equivalent of sections?
So we have sections available from Grafana, which is nothing but just a section. It just creates a section on UI for a dashboard. So all relevant panels will lie in one section, and then in second section, all the other will lie. But in smart reporting, I think what they are looking for is maybe if we have a quarterly report somewhere. And I want to say Jan report should be there in one section, then Feb report again one pie chart should show, and then in March the third pie chart should show. That's what I think they are looking for, which is currently not there in the same thing is not there in smart reporting. But what I can suggest is similar fashion, we have sections available in dashboard, and also we have the second thing is record details plugin. You can just try out using record details visualization, and there you can just what I can say, based on certain qualification, you can just see the result based on it. So if you want to say look for the incident summary of 5 incidents, then you can see that result, the 5 result in 5 sections, 5 different sections. That's how it works in record details. But yeah, that is very specific to that visualization to see the summary. But yes, there will have to have some improvement to be in sync with smart reporting. It's not there today. But this is a workaround which can be used.
Okay. If you create an initial SQL query via Visual Query Builder, then edit the SQL manually for a function which is not available in Query Builder, will any further edits using Query Builder, such as adding a new column, override the manual SQL edits?
See, if so, for example, you have created a query using Visual Query Builder, and some function you want to, for some function, you want to switch it to direct SQL. Then once you are in direct SQL and you save that panel, apply and save that dashboard, you will not be able to again successfully go into the Visual Query Builder for further edits, I would say, because you are adding certain things which are not understandable by Visual Query Builder. So it's always better to define certain things on metadata layer, like I have shown. Whatever functions we support in AR JDBC functions list, that all can be used in calculated fields. Also, we are coming up with some functions list on Visual Query Builder UI as well. So better to use, keep on using Visual Query Builder unless you get some such requirement that you cannot achieve. Or there is a transform tab available in panel editor as well that you can use along with Visual Query Builder, so that so if you use transform and apply some function there, then it will not affect the query which you have generated using Visual Query Builder. But yeah, it all depends on what is your requirement. But to answer your question, you will not be able to use Visual Query Builder if you add something into the query manually.
Okay. In smart reporting, you cannot really mix incident, task, work order in one report. Can we do it in Helix dashboards?
We cannot really mix incident, task, work order. We can do it if I'm getting your question correctly. So we need to have some mechanism to join between them, right? For example, you want to see the tasks related to that incident. Then yeah, it is all dependent on how you generate a query, right? Or if you have any particular use case, we can take that up, but it is possible. That's not it. So yeah.
But you can in dashboards, you can create multiple panels in a dashboard, and you can have one
Yeah,
panel on incident, one on
yes.
work orders,
Yeah,
one,
okay,
one on
that,
process.
if that's the question, yes, then it is possible.
Correct. Okay, thank you. We had great discussion on these questions. Now let's move on to the last section of this workshop, which is the product roadmap. And I'm going to share my screen once again. Hey, I need to present the legal notice. I'm going to present the product roadmap here. However, there's no commitment on BMC's behalf that these features will make it to the product. There's an intent, but if you're planning to make any purchase decisions, please do so based on product features that are generally available. So drag and drop report designer, that's Visual Query Builder. We just saw a demo of this. This is our latest feature in dashboards. We released it in 24.1. We have introduced about 50 commonly used fields for every view. And these are the most commonly used. We have created out-of-the-box metadata views for the most common objects, incidents, problems, changes, asset, CMDB, and so on, across ITSM, business workflows, as well as digital workplace. Metadata Studio, we just saw a demo of this. This is a roadmap item because it will be controlled available in 24.2, and in one of our upcoming releases, it will become generally available. However, it will be possible for any customer to turn this feature on and start using it now after you upgrade to 24.2. Custom roles and granular access. At the moment, the role model in dashboards is closely tied to BMC Helix portal. We are decoupling from that so that dashboard admins can have greater control over how you grant access. Once we do that, in the next couple of releases or so, you will have much greater control over things like once you've set up your metadata studio, you can even prevent report editors from creating reports based on SQL or form. So you can force users to only create reports from using Visual Query Builder. That's the kind of control admins will have in how everyone uses the system. You'll be able to export reports to HTML with rich formatting. So what you see on the report when a report is generated and the content when it's sent in an email, it will preserve all the HTML formatting in that email body so that the report you see on screen is identical to, or rather, the report you receive in an email is identical to the report you see on screen. There are also other minor enhancements we are doing to exports to PDF and Excel. MSP use cases, managed service providers in IT service management as well as IT operations management. We are going to leverage ITSM company definitions so that you can generate reports for different companies within one dashboard. On the ITSM side, ITSM, we are also going to honor allowing multiple authentication models, one for each company. That wasn't possible earlier. Now it's going to be possible in one of our upcoming releases. Also, ITOM MSPs, ITOM MSPs, you can have multiple, you already have the ability, we already have the ability to have multiple panels in a dashboard, but you can choose, let's say you have 10 tenants. As an MSP, you have 10 tenants. You can have one panel for every tenant. So within one dashboard, you can have data for all your tenants in different panels. That's the use case we are working on. Continuous buildup of dashboards content. We continually deliver dashboard content that will continue. So there are a few examples: a DWP site survey dashboard, there's a Kubernetes container dashboard, an analyst performance scorecard, and so on. There's a community page where we list dashboards that we deliver. Dashboards, widget, and users control, whether it's across all Helix products, we plan to allow the ability to embed dashboard widgets so that whether it's digital workplace or ITSM, you'll be able to embed dashboard widgets so that you can you can configure your landing pages or any other pages where you can directly show dashboards. We also plan to allow customers and partners to build dashboard content and release it on BMC Marketplace so that any dashboards you have created, you can share with others publicly. Dashboards as a self-service, this is about providing a guided workflow or something like a wizard for anyone who's new to Helix dashboards. If they want to develop a new dashboard, the wizard will walk them through the different steps or stages of building a dashboard. So for example, write a SQL or pick up the forms or fields or select your fields from Visual Query Builder. That may be the first step. Next, you allow them to select the visualization and so on. So a step-by-step guided workflow to build dashboards. Usage statistics, the ability for admins to measure the adoption of dashboards to find out which are the most used dashboards, which dashboards are not used, dashboards used the most in the past few days, the top users who consume or who run your dashboards, all usage patterns that allow you to make decisions on all your content. And that's about it. We come almost towards the end of this workshop. We're going to share a recording of this workshop publicly on YouTube. It will be a private link, but we will post the links on BMC community so that you can, if you wish to view this recording again, as well as the presentations the presentation decks that we presented from today, we will share these documents on BMC community. And so you will have access to these documents from today's workshop. Let's see if we have any more questions. Is the Metadata Studio planned to include BHOM and/or Discovery as well? Not at the moment, because the use cases on BHOM and Discovery are quite straightforward. And we don't see this need widespread. The ability to expand Metadata Studio to also include BHOM and Discovery, we haven't seen this use case to be widespread, but we'll continue to watch out for feedback from customers to see if we need to revisit that decision. Hey, what other questions do you have? If you don't have any more questions, we are ready to end this workshop. Feel free to hang up, or if you have questions, we'll stand by for a few more minutes. Thank you for attending this workshop. We look forward to your adoption of Helix dashboards. If you use smart reporting, please start converting your reports to dashboards and use the conversion tool or use the metadata studio. We hope you use Visual Query Builder and the metadata studio as your first choice, because any report that you migrate using the reporting tool, you will not be able to edit it using Query Builder in the future. So if you want your reports to be created in a way that it makes it easier for you to manage those reports in the future, you should not migrate those reports. Then it's better to use Query Builder to build those reports. So please take this factor into consideration when you decide whether to build afresh using Query Builder or to use the migration tool. Okay, it looks like we don't have any more questions. So thank you once again for your attendance to this workshop. Thank you, Abhinay and Kshitija, for your participation as well.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all.